Good evening, everybody, and welcome back. This is Joshua Fix, the commissioner of the Palmetto Racing League. If you watched our last video on the new progression system development ladder, this video here will be touching more on the Master Rulebook for the league that will basically govern all of the series at once. So we'll be touching on quite a few subjects here. Break them down as best we can on each article that's in the Master Competition Rulebook. It's not a lot, but obviously this is a summarized version of what you will find in that rulebook. So if you are a league member and you are going to be participating in the progression system, don't just take this presentation for face value. This is simply just an overview of what to look for and what you can kind of expect out of the progression system master rulebook here. Be sure to actually look at the document once it is posted. I will say it is not posted in the Discord yet at the time of publishing this video, but it will be available the closer we get time for this progression system to roll out in the league. So let's go ahead and get started here. As I said, this is going to be dealing with the Master Competition Rulebook for the league here. This is going to go over the main important things that's going to be governed in each series. So we'll take a look here at the Article 1 that is going to deal with governance and purpose. This is basically going to be a structured performance-based league system. It will apply to all PRL sanctioned series, so that would be Street Stock, SRX, ARCA Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. And basically the bottom statement there, administration retains final authority. And that basically just means what it says. Administration will have the final say on what's enforced and penalties and things of that nature. Moving on to Article 2, talks about the development ladder. We've kind of already touched on that in the last video, so I won't go too much into detail here on that, because you should, if you watched the first video, you should already be familiar with this. 6 tiers that go from Street Stock being the very beginner entry level to Cup. Defined progression structure here will be for each series a 63 driver roster cap per tier. What that means is 63 drivers in a perfect world in every series would be great. Not saying that won't happen, but it will take us some time to get there. Most of your tracks only have 43 pit stalls available without having to share a pit stall. Don't see us doing any sharing of pit stalls. Every driver will have their own designated pit stall. However, we do have a few tracks that could potentially be on the roster that only have 40 pit stalls, some even lower than that. In that situation where we have more drivers than we have pit stalls, we will revert to a fastest time qualifying. The drivers that qualify in those top spots will fill that grid and participate in that race, and the ones who don't make that cut have to try again next week. That's basically what that will turn into. So again, don't see that being an issue anytime in the very near future. But it is a very real possibility as this league does continue to grow and we do continue to get some traction and get members in. It is a very real possibility. So just something to be thinking about. Go ahead and move on. Articles 3 and 4 deal with eligibility and ratings. We touched on this a little bit already in the last video, so don't want to beat a dead horse here. Full season completion is required for promotion. Basically, that means no unexcused races. You didn't participate in just half the season, you participated in the full season. Excused absences from races is something totally different. I will say that will have an effect on your driver rating, so just something to be mindful of there. Driver rating is determined by extreme scoring with the system that I mentioned earlier. I do believe we will be touching on that a little bit more in a future slide here shortly, so I won't go into too much detail with that here. And again, it is a performance-based advancement system. So Article 5 deals with the promotion policy. Touched on this as well, so you should be pretty familiar with it. Top 10 and driver rating are eligible to move up to the series above them. Champions will automatically be promoted. Top 10 drivers with the driver rating will be allowed one refusal, so if you are eligible for promotion but decide you don't quite want to move up yet, you are allowed to refuse one time, but if that second season rolls around and you are top 10 in the driver ratings again, you will not be able to refuse for a second time. You will have to move up to the next series. Promotions may be frozen for review. What that means is this is a really rare case with the way that we have this structured, but in the event that it does happen, all this means is someone who is top 10 in the driver rating, let's say it's top 10 drivers that move straight into a brand new series. Well, top 10 driver, if the bottom 5 are being looked at the end of the season to determine a possibility of regression, well, I mean, it's half the grid. So in that event, promotions may be frozen for that season to allow for 10 new drivers to come in at the completion of the series below to give it a more level playing field, so that it kind of freezes the board, so to say, to ensure that the right candidates are being promoted. So, and we'll kind of touch on that here in a minute, because it does deal with in another article talking about the series being frozen due to stability. So we'll keep on moving right along. All right, so we have next article here deals with cross-tier participation. Now, we've kind of touched on this one a little bit, so we're not going to beat a dead horse here again. Drivers may race in their current tier or series that they are a part of. So if you just received a promotion from SRX to ARCA, you would be allowed to race in the ARCA tier, and you would be allowed to race in the SRX tier as well. You can go one below, but you cannot compete above. So no competing above your assigned tier, but you can go one tier below if you wanted to run 2 seasons at once. That is doable. What is not doable is if you were in ARCA and you wanted to run in street stocks again. That's 2 tiers below. You wouldn't be allowed to do that. It would be only the tier below your current tier. So that's what that's dealing with there. Next article, incident evaluation. We touched on this one in the first video too, so I'm not going to go into too much detail here, talking about that season incident average formula, and all that is the total number of incident points that you have accrued through the season divided by the number of races that you competed in would give us your season incident average. And those averages could possibly trigger a review on your person to determine whether you may be subject to regression, may not be eligible for promotion, and may have to either get dropped down to the series below or run another season in the current series that you are in. All right, and that's kind of where we lead here with the regression policy. In every series, the bottom 5 are subject to review. Doesn't mean that anything will come from it. It just means that admin is going to take a closer look into each one of those drivers to just see if there's anything that sticks out to them that could be indicative of an issue Maybe the driver doesn't quite fit the series, or maybe it's just a sense that the competitiveness in that series is a lot higher than what that driver's used to, and might just need a little more time. Another season running in that series may fix that problem, but it just means that they'll be looking at that closely and trying to determine what the resolution, if any, may need to be. Attendance policy. This is a big one, and this is something that will definitely be cracked down on when the progression system rolls out. We have it in the rule books currently for the 2 series that we are running. However, it has been a little lenient. I will tell you, during the progression phase, that will go away. We're all familiar here with what no call, no show means. We understand not everyone is going to make every race, and that's totally okay. I think we've all missed races at some point or another. What's not okay is not finding the 2 seconds that it takes to shoot myself or Aaron Vogt, the VP, a message letting us know that you won't be able to make the race. I mean, even if it's a matter of a few hours. There's been a few instances during the truck series this season that several drivers had to work that day and had planned on being off before the race started, and they wound up having to work late. They didn't find out until a few hours before time to get off, and had to message me a few hours before. There's nothing wrong with that. It's when you don't say anything at all, and we're kind of expecting you to be at grid up and you're not there. That's where we have the issue. So the attendance policy will be strictly enforced due to league stability. If you get 3 strikes, that's it, and your strikes don't reset. It's 3 strikes per season. You go 3 strikes with a no call, no show, you get ejected from the league. You can always join back up again, but if that's the case, you will start over from the bottom. So if you were somewhere in the Truck Series or Xfinity, and you're almost in Cup, and you have 3 strikes against you, you get booted from the league. You come in, you start back over. Tier activation. So this is kind of something that I was just talking about a few slides ago here. So essentially, right now, we have a street stock series and we have a truck series. So if we follow the current tier order, it is street stocks, SRX, ARCA, then trucks, then Xfinity, then Cup. Well, clearly the SRX, the ARCA, the Xfinity, and the Cups do not exist yet. Those are the 4 series that will be getting added. So the current roster of street stock drivers that we have will be the first ones to roll out straight into the progression system, because the top 10 from this series will be offered a position in SRX. And they'll be brand new to that. So that means the SRX roster will only be 10 people deep, which is still a decent grid, especially for the type of racing that they do. However, you can kind of see where the problem may come in with that, because at the end of that season, do all 10 of those drivers just hop up into ARCA and 10 new drivers from street stocks move into SRX? You could do it that way, but where's the competitiveness in that if everyone is getting moved up? So essentially, every time a tier is activated, in this sense, at the completion of the 2 seasons in August, September will start brand new, and the SRX tier will be getting activated with the first 10 drivers. That tier will be frozen because it is not technically stable. It only has 10 drivers. So after that season, that first season with SRX is concluded, none of those drivers will be promoted or dropped, because the tier itself will need a chance to stabilize. That will leave room for 10 more drivers to be promoted up from street stocks into SRX, because the only series that will now be recruited to with brand new drivers will be street stocks. And street stocks will be feeding all the other series more advanced, experienced drivers. That's the goal here. But every time a new tier is activated, that tier will have to run for one season without any promotions, including champions. No one will move up to the next series until that series has completed one full season. Then that following season, the top 10 will be offered promotions and the champion will get to move up. And that will only happen for new tiers. That will not happen for the truck series because the truck series already has drivers in that roster. Now, if you are one of those drivers in the truck series roster, you will be stuck in limbo for a little while. Meaning, you will essentially run several seasons in the truck series before you have anywhere to go, because we will need to get these tiers below the truck series filled in before we start moving people out of the truck series, whether it be up or down, so that we don't create any gaps. So that is the downside of it, but it's only for I think when I ran the numbers on this, I want to say it was a total of 3 seasons that the truck series drivers would have to run. So you if you're a truck series driver, you will be kind of stuck in a bit of a limbo. So that's what that means there. And this is kind of going back to some governance authority here in these 2 articles. And all this is saying is the grid will be determined by pit stall limits. That goes back to what I said earlier, where if we're at a track that only has 43 pit stalls, but we've got 60 drivers that are looking to race in that series, the top 43 drivers on qualifying will be the ones that get to grid and run that race. Everybody else will have to pack it up, come back out for the next race and try again. And like I said, that is a problem that I don't foresee us running into anytime soon, but it is a possibility. So, just be prepared for that. This is also talking about the admin interpreting and enforcing rules. Stage bonus policy. I kind of touched on this in the first video as well. Not going to beat a dead horse here. Applies to tier 3 and above. They will have stages. Top 10 earn stage points, with P1 getting 10 stage points, P1 getting 1 stage point. So everyone from P1 all the way down to P10, B minus 1. And those points are only in regular season. So if the playoffs, they roll around and they do have stages, there will not be any stage points for playoffs. This is the slide for our revision history. Version 1.0 was the original Master Rulebook. Version 2, stage policy was added. Version 3, we had a gap in the articles, so we had to go through and kind of restore that. That's all this slide is talking about. And this is basically a summary of everything we just went over, and what we're hoping to achieve, and that is basically unified governance across all tiers. So we have a clear outlined promotion and regression system, a standardized playoff structure across all series, and the main purpose for all of this is designed for long-term league growth. So it's not going to be a quick process, but it is one that we firmly believe once everything starts to fill out and adapt, this is going to be a great thing, I think, for the league itself and also every driver included. So I do believe that is the end of our slideshow, and it is. I appreciate you sitting through another video again. I hope these slideshows and presentations are helping to clear up any confusion. As always, you can always reach out to me with questions. I will have more videos in the future. I plan to do the same style of presentation with each one of the rule books. Again, these are just an overview. Please make sure you still go over the rule books when they are published in the Discord, so that you are familiar with all of the do's and don'ts for each series.